Welcome back, Minties. This is Omar from Near Mint Condition. And as promised, here is part 2 of the comprehensive reading order of The Incredible Hulk. So please stay tuned. Okay, so let's get this started. Really quick, in my last video, I forgot to mention that one of the Incredible Hulk books is collected in the Thunderbolts Classics. And that is the first appearance of the Thunderbolts, which is issue 449. And, of course, you don't want to buy this just for that. You want to buy this because this is a damn Thunderbolts, and it's an amazing book. So, go buy this. Alright, let's kick this off with Volume 2, Issue 1, collected right here in The Incredible Hulk by John Byrne and Ron Garney. The reason I was waiting for a Visionaries Part 2 was because of this book. But they never did Visionaries 2, so that's why I didn't get the first one. So this collects issues 1 through 11 of the Volume 2 series. Like I said, this is after Heroes Return. It's when Bruce Banner comes back from the Heroes Reborn universe, and him and Hulk are merged again, so everything's back to semi-normal. And John Byrne and Ron Garney relaunched the series. I don't think John Byrne even got to finish his story because there are other writers that take over the run. I guess he just got bored with the character. And this particular run was okay. Yeah, Jerry Ordway ends up writing most of this stuff. Ron Garney's still on artwork. Ron Garney all the way up until he did this book right here, which I've done an overview of, so I won't go over. But this book is the one that collects issues 12 through 33, Annual 2000 and 2001, Hulk half issue, the Century Hulk 1, Hulk Smash 1 and 2, and then Starling Stories Banner 1 through 4. That's what's collected in here. I am not sure why the hell they did not do an omnibus and just collect this in here. But hey, Marvel, right? Okay, let's talk about the Bruce Jones run. Now, Bruce Jones was notorious for writing a lot of the horror books, back like doing Creepy. As a matter of fact, one of his stories got translated over into a TV show called Masters of Horror, and that is Jennifer. And if you've never seen it, it is pretty freaking hot and terrifying at the same time. That's all I will say if you've never seen it. But it's based on the original comic that he wrote in Creepy magazine. So, right here, this kicks off the new era where Bruce Jones is taking over as the new writer. This collects issues 34 to 39, again, from Volume 2. So, taking over right after the Hulk Dogs of War. Here is Volume 2, Boiling Point. Collecting issues 40 to 43. Now, both of these were previously collected in one hardcover. They did 2 hardcovers of this series, by the way. Artwork by John Romita Jr. and Ron Garney, Lee Weeks. So let's keep going. Here's Volume 3 of his run. This is Transfer of Power. And Transfer of Power collects issues 44 through 49. So Stuart Eminem is now on artwork. And Bruce Jones still writing creepy stories. I actually really like this run, and I'm surprised we didn't get an omnibus of this. So here's Volume 4, Abominable. I wonder who shows up here. I like the idea of Bruce just running through the country. This starts the Mike Deodato Jr. artwork. Kind of being a vagabond and a hitchhiker, and there's a reason for that. So this collects issues 50 through 54, and it is, of course, the return of the Abomination. Just based on the title alone, you should have figured that out. Let's go move on to Volume 5, Volume 5, Hide in Plain Sight. Some of these are still in print, I think a couple of them. Most of these are out of print, but they're not worth a lot of money, so you can find them on the cheap site. This collects issues 55 through 59. By the way, volumes 3 and 4 are collected in an oversized hardcover, and those are the only 2 hardcovers that they did for Bruce Jones' run. I'm really surprised we got a Hulk Dogs of War instead of an omnibus by Bruce Jones. But then again, I'm also surprised we don't have a damn Peter David omnibus yet. So, let's keep moving. So here is Split Decision, covered by Mike Deodato Jr. And artwork by Mike Deodato Jr. in here. I love his stuff during this time. He's less Jim Lee-ish and more of a realistic art style. But just over the top muscular dudes that he can draw so well. I think he fit the art or the story so well, and I think Bruce Jones figured that out and was writing stories for his artist, like meant for Mike Deodato. So the return of Doc Samson, and I don't want to spoil anything, but there is a reason these stories are dark and twisted. Dead Like Me.
what does this collect here? I think this is issues. This doesn't collect much. I think it's just 4 issues. This is issue 66 through 69. Now we have artwork by Lee Weeks and Doug Braithwaite. What is his name? He did a lot of the. He did all the pencil work for the Justice storyline that Alex Ross went over in paints, and then he did a lot of Wolverine origin stuff. So there was a major death of a character in the previous volume 1. Let's look at the next 2 books and finish out Bruce Jones' run. So we have Big Things, collecting issues 70 through 76. And by the way, flipping through that other volume, volume 7, it also collected Hulk Smash 1 and 2 from the 2001 series. Once again, we have Doug Braithwaite on art and Mike Deodato Jr. on artwork. And I believe in this run we also get, Derek Robertson's run, which kind of finishes out Bruce Jones's semi-fantasy, semi-horror take on the Incredible Hulk. And I really like this take. And this is the final story with Bruce Jones before they let Peter David come back and do a story. So let's look at that. Here we have Tempest Fugit by Peter David and Lee Weeks, as I mentioned. Lee Weeks having a very similar art style to Ron Garney because he was one of those Joe Kubert graduates, much like Ron Garney, Steve Epting, those guys. They have a similar art style, or they did, and then they kind of evolved into their own art style. This collects issues 77 through 82, that's right. And this kind of is a standalone story. You could pick this up by yourself. I really enjoy this. I think Peter David did a phenomenal job of, after being off the book for many years, he came back and it was like he never left home. Oh, and it's got stuff by Jay Lee back here. Next, we have the inevitable crossover forced event, The Incredible Hulk House of M. And this is written by Peter David, and artwork is by Jorge Lucas. This collects issues 83 to 87. And let's see. Yeah, let's look a little bit through here, and then we'll get to what most folks probably have read recently. Yeah, this is all the crossover event with the Avengers and X-Men event, House of M. Okay, moving on to the book that I'm sure lots of people have read already. This is the Planet Hulk Omnibus. And this replaced an oversized hardcover. It also replaced the trade paperback Prelude to Planet Hulk. But that was kind of crappy because it was written by Daniel Waid. But it did have some gorgeous artwork. So anyway, this collects Fantastic Four 533 to 535, which was the JMS issues drawn by Mike McCone. Incredible Hulk 88 through 105, Giant Size Hulk #1, What If Planet Hulk Gladiator Guidebook, and the material from New Avengers Illuminati, where they shot him up into space, even though I don't agree with that. But whatever, I'm not a fan of the Illuminati. But I do like where the story went because of this. Pretty much the Hulk gets shot into space. He was supposed to go into a state of solitude on a planet, but he ended up crashing the spaceship into a gladiator-style planet and beat the shit out of a lot of people in here. And, well, I don't want to give it away. But if you do want to check out our old reader, new reader, we did that last year, and we all ended up loving it. A lot of elements here were borrowed for Thor Ragnarok. Anyway, continuing what this has, and it also has the first appearance of Amadeus Cho, which is Amazing Fantasy number 15. And, like I said, previously released in trade paperbacks and oversized hardcover, and then also replacing the Prelude to Planet Hulk. Then, that all leads up to World War Hulk. By the way, all of this was written by the amazing Greg Pak. Now, this book is a lot thicker, so this book contains a shit ton more. So this collects the World War Hulk Prologue, World Breaker, World War Hulk 1 through 5, Incredible Hulk 106 to 111, Iron Man 19 through 20, Avengers The Initiative 4 through 5, The Irredeemable Ant-Man number 10, World War Hulk X-Man, that's what the miniseries was called, 1 through 3, Ghost Rider 12 through 13, Heroes of Hire 11 through 15, Punisher War Journal 12, World War Hulk Gamma Corps 1 through 4, World War Hulk Frontline 1 through 6, World War Hulk After Smash One Shot, the After Smash Damage Control 1 through 3, Warbound 1 through 5, and then the Hulk Planet Hulk Saga. So lots and lots of freaking stories in here that kind of crossed over with the Incredible Hulk, and some more than others, but
I'd say about, honestly, I enjoyed about 70% of this omnibus. I like the World War Hulk. It's crazy because it was only 5 issues, and then we get this gigantic size omnibus because of it. Alright, moving on past this. Where do we go from here? Well, really quick, what I do want to say is that the title then changes to Incredible Hercules because of something that happens at the end of World War Hulk number 5. So after issue 111, there is no more Incredible Hulk. For now. But then where do we go? What happens after World War Hulk? Well, you can read The Adventures of Hercules, which, by the way, The Incredible Hercules is amazing because it is written by Greg Pak and Fred Levente. And then, the one thing I swore I wasn't going to talk about because I was just going to talk about The Incredible Hulk, but I have to talk about this because it is where Bruce Banner ends up appearing, and that is Red Hulk. So let's look at this really quick. Now, I don't talk about this run that much because I'm not a big fan of it. This is written by Jeff Loeb and drawn by Ed McGuinness. So, Volume 1 of Red Hulk collects issues 1 through 6. And it also collects issue 50 of Wolverine. Yeah. That's awesome. Because of just this little, like... It's not even the whole issue. It's just like this little fight here with the Hulk. Anyway. And then collecting issues 7 through 9 is right here. And also collects the King-Size Hulk. So why is this important? Well, because after World War Hulk, something happens to Bruce Banner. Oh my god, but it does have some wonderful artwork by Arthur Adams. So hell yes, get this. There is an omnibus coming out. I forgot to mention that. Hold on, I'll talk about that here in a second. But anyway, what I was saying is, yeah, this is stupid fun. I think that's the main reason I picked these up. Because there's really not much to the story. Hulk No More, Volume 3, collecting issues 10 through 13, and also collecting issue 600, which is the return of Bruce Banner. And I'll go talk about that here in a second. The classic team up with the Defenders. There's a new Hulk in town. He is the Red Hulk. We don't know who his secret identity is. I seriously doubt that Jeff Loeb knew at the time when he was writing these, because the way it's written, it's like he's almost making up shit as he went along. Which, you know, nothing wrong with that, but I was used to Greg Pak and Peter David writing Hulk, so I wanted more substance, more something. Oh, there is a new villain called A-Bomb, not Abomination, because Abomination got killed by a gun. Yeah. But you know what? If you enjoyed this run, more power to you. That's awesome. Here is Volume 4. So from this point forward, the story primarily stars Red Hulk. And then if you want to read Bruce Banner's Hulk, he appears in those hardcovers back there, which I will talk about in a little bit. This is Hulk vs. X-Force, issues 14 through 18, collected in here. Art by Ian Churchill, which at this point had changed his art style from more of a Jim Lee look to more of almost like an Ed McGuinness kind of look. I don't know what he was doing. I think he was just experimenting with art styles during this time. Maybe to make it easier so he can keep up a monthly schedule. And then back here, we have the return of Will Spartacio to Marvel Comics, who is one of my favorite artists, who drew a lot of Uncanny X-Men. Then we have the Hulk, Fall of the Hulks crossover event. So I promised I was going to talk about the omnibus that's coming out. And this collects issues 19 through 21 of Red Hulk. And there's an omnibus collecting all 6 of these hardcovers coming out later on this year. It's already been solicited. I'm sure it won't be canceled because people love Jeff Loeb's run on Red Hulk. Yeah, I know it. I mean, I get it. It's got a huge fan following. Holy shit, these books are so easy to read. Like, you won't spend any time reading these books. They're mainly just giant splash pages. I get it. But we don't have a Peter David Hulk. What the hell? How does this keep happening? Anyway, so here is issues 22 through 24, and this ends Jeff Loeb's time with Red Hulk. He ends up leaving, and then we actually get a guy that really makes the book really fun, and that is Jeff Parker, the guy that wrote Agents of Atlas. So the book keeps on going. Red Hulk keeps on going, and it actually makes it really good. I really like that run. But I'm not going to talk about those. I'm sticking with Hulk, so let's keep going. Now, these next 2 books make me sad because I was wanting more. This is the return of the Incredible Hulk. We have Greg Pak writing these with Jeff Parker. So this is the big oversized hardcover collecting issues 600 through 608. Some of 600 was already collected in that Red Hulk run back there that I was talking about. Then this collects a whole lot more. This is like the size of an omnibus. As a matter of fact, this is actually bigger than Dogs of War. But anyway, this collects Dark Reign MODOK 1 through 4, Dark Reign the List Hulk #1, Fall of the Hulks Alpha 1, Fall of the Hulks MODOK,
Fall of the Hulks Red Hulk 1 through 4, and Incredible Hulk 600 through 608, as I mentioned before.
Like, I think the MODOK stuff was actually a digital comic at first, and then they released it as, in a hardcover edition. So here's the Red Hulk stuff. Most of the stuff written by Jeff Parker and Greg Pak.
Love this run on Hulk. Greg Pak's run is awesome. Probably my second favorite run on the Incredible Hulk. And by the way, a jumping on point for me would definitely be Planet Hulk for anybody that has not read Hulk or that first Peter David
collection, but those are harder to find. So let's look through the next book. So this is the second and last, sadly, oversized hardcover from Greg Pak's run. Also written by Jeff Parker and Kieran Gillen. So this is the follow-up. The other one was Fall of the Hulks. This is World War Hulks, of course, right?
Collects Hulk Out Heroes 1 and 2. Those are so freaking ridiculous.
Like, where all the characters, like Thor and the Thing, and man, just become the Hulk for no reason. And Deadpool even gets in there with art by Humberto Ramos. Anyway, it's silly fun, but I actually dug it.
1 and 2, Incredible Hulk 312, which is the original one. There's a reprinting for a reason. 609 through 611. Savage She-Hulk 1 through 3. World War Hulks #1. World War Hulks Spider-Man versus Thor. That's what we saw earlier. World War Hulks Wolverine versus Captain America 1 and 2. And that is it. And sadly, like I said, this is the last oversized hardcover. These books, by the way, also have trade paperbacks available. And I'm not going to talk about Scar, by the way. I'm just focusing on Hulk, if you were about to bring that up. So, speaking of Scar, here is Dark Sun, the trade paperback. Probably the 6th trade paperback, by the way, in the Greg Pak run. Collecting issues 612 through 617 of the Incredible Hulk. All written by Greg Pak. By this time, though, he is teaming up with different artists like Barry Kitson and Tom Rainey. Just to name a few. So let's keep going with the rest of Greg Pak's run, which the next one is a crossover with the Chaos War, which the Chaos War all kicked off in the Incredible Hercules, but it did cross over into the Incredible Hulk series that Greg Pak was also writing. So this collects issues 618 to 622. Chaos War was never collected in a hardcover or anything like that. It was just collected in a trade paperback edition. And it's pretty much like a very, very similar to Blackest Night, but it gets overlooked because of Blackest Night and Ex Necrotia, where a lot of heroes come back from the dead. So that's what the main storyline is about. And the penultimate volume here, Planet Savage. By now we have Del Eaglesham on artwork. He's the gentleman that did a lot of the JSA stuff with Jeff Johns. And once again, Greg Pak, the penultimate volume here, about to wrap up his run. Also Tom Grumet on artwork, it looks like. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed his run. I wish he had stayed. And this is The Heart of the Monster. This is probably one of my favorite Greg Pak books, and it's the final one, with art by Paul Pelletier, who is a UK artist, but he did such an amazing job here. By the way, Planet Savage was issue 623 to 629, and Heart of the Monster is the final Greg Pak issue, so 630 to 635. And if you've noticed by now, you're like, how the hell did we go from 111 to 600? Well, that's because Marvel decided to renumber it when Red Hulk and... so they kept the numbering system for Incredible Hercules, and then they decided to go back to the original number of 600 when they got to the 600 issue, because... And I know there was a huge debate whether that was actually the 600 issue or not of the Incredible Hulk, because many people were like, no, it's actually more like 598. So, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. So, speaking of renumbering, I swear to God, it feels like every time they do this, they get a new creative team, they renumber it. I am not kidding. That's why if you look over there, and if you look right here, you see all these different number ones, right? And over there. Ridiculous. So, this is the Jason Aaron run, which started off with beautiful freaking artwork by Mark Silvestri. This collects issues 1 through 7, also available in a hardcover. Not oversized hardcover, just a normal size hardcover. But unfortunately, Mark Silvestri got sick, like really sick, so he couldn't finish out his run, so they got Will Portacio to finish out his run for him. So that was really cool. Jason Aaron writing Hulk.
a very forgettable run. Not that it was bad, it was
Just okay. This looks like artwork by Steve Dillon, and this collects the remaining issues of his. So 7.1 and 8 through 15 are all collected in here. Like I said, not a bad.
Oh, that's Salvador Roca.
I could tell that's back when he was
Not using a light box. Not bad, but just it was okay. Then we move on to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the indestructible Hulk.
no longer the Incredible Hulk. Now Mark Waid takes on the writing duties, and
This collects issues 1 through 5 with wonderful artwork by Lionel Francis Yu. And yeah, issues 1 through 5, not a lot, right? That's right. No, not really. Here's volume 2 with beautiful artwork by Walter Simonson, and I say beautiful
because I'm a huge fan of Walter Simonson, but I can tell why people are not. This collects issues 6 through 10.
and also written by Mark Waid. And let's look at a little bit more of this. Most of the stuff in here was drawn by Walter Simonson. Got sketches in the back. And here is volume 3. Looks like artwork by Matteo Scalera. And collecting issues 11 through 15 of the Indestructible Hulk. And we have a bunch of sketches here in the back. Unfinished artwork. Layouts. I love when they do things like this. Okay, and here we have the final volume, volume 4 of the Indestructible Hulk, written by Mark Waid, artwork by Clay Mann.
And by the way, this collects issues 16 through 20 and annual number 1. But this is all now collected in one big, thick trade paperback. I think it's the Ultimate Edition or the complete collection of Indestructible Hulk. So that would be the way I get it, unless you can find these on the cheap end. I just haven't upgraded because it's not oversized hardcover format. Another relaunch, it's just called Hulk. Still written by Mark Waid. Collecting issues 1 through 5. This is from the Banner DOA series. I believe Mark Bagley is now on art duties.
I think he actually lasted most of the run, but Waid didn't finish out his run, or he stepped down, because I know Gary Dugan took over the next volume. So here is volume 1 of Omega Hulk Book 1, but it's actually volume 2 of this run. By the way, this only collects issues 1 through 4. I was wrong. Forgive me. This is 5 right here is in this one. 5 through 10 and annual number 10. Now, this is all Gary Duggan. He's the one that did a lot of the Deadpool stuff and Guardians of the Galaxy. And also collects annual number 1. Like I said, volume 2 of this new run, but called Omega Hulk Book 1. Confusing, right? That's why I'm doing these things. And Omega Hulk Book 2, like Mark Bagley finishing out his run, so is Duggan finishing out the Hulk for now. Collecting issues 11 through 16. And then there is no more Hulk. Why? Well, here, let me show you just a little bit more of his artwork. I always loved Hulk with a beard and a mohawk. Why? Well, because of this book, Civil War II. Not going to tell you what happens, but something does happen. But that's okay. Don't worry. It's superheroes. So after all, this run is Totally Awesome Hulk, which is now Amadeus Cho is the Hulk. But I cannot not talk about this book. And also The Immortal Hulk. We're getting an oversized hardcover of that, by the way. So I'm waiting on that instead of getting the trades. I haven't gotten any of the Totally Awesome Hulk yet, even though it is Greg Pak. And I'm waiting on thicker collections. So I have to show this because while it does have this book right here, which of course is Future Imperfect, it also contains Hulk the End. And this hasn't been reprinted yet. I don't know why. Del Keown is teamed up again with my boy Peter David to tell the last story of the Incredible Hulk. And it is wonderful and awesome, and I love it, and I can't believe we don't have a reprint of it yet, so that's why I'm keeping this book. I use it as a placeholder until we get the epic with the collection. But yeah. And that was it. That was part 2 of the comprehensive reading order. Thank you very much for joining me. And please don't forget to comment down below if I left anything out. And like I mentioned in the video, all I did was cover everything up until Civil War II. Now, if you have any recommendations to do any other comprehensive reading orders, please leave those comments down below. I love hearing suggestions, and if I have the books, I'd be more than happy to do it. Also, don't forget to check out our review of Captain Marvel, which comes out tomorrow on Saturday. Also, don't forget to check out our review of the Captain Marvel movie, which comes out tomorrow on Saturday. Again, this was Omar. Thank you for watching, and remember, if it's classy and cool, it must be near mint.